How do we ensure that our voice is heard in a literature review? We're going to analyse 4 pieces of text to see how the writer's authority is demonstrated. First, as in this example, the topic sentence of the paragraph should be your statement, not a citation from others. Make your ideas and arguments central. In this paragraph, the writer's voice is also strongly heard at the end. In this second example, the writer, Janet Hunt, has grouped together researchers who agree with her contention. They offer supporting evidence for her view. She shows she's familiar with the ideas in her field and she knows how these ideas relate to her own. Third, in this example, the authoritative voice is demonstrated when Caroline Tan addresses opposing findings or positions by setting up a debate. Notice how she states her claim in the topic sentence, followed by referenced opposing views, and then presents even more sources, more up-to-date sources incidentally, to support her claim. And notice the powerful effect of the linking words in green. Finally, the academic voice not only refers to the authority of your own views, it's also demonstrated by showing respect for the views of others, even when you don't agree. Never attack the person. In this example, it's not acceptable to call Smith an unreliable source. Instead, focus on evaluating the work. That is, talk about the research itself and its limitations. Now we'll look at 3 different texts and work out which has more authority and why. These examples come from Kamler and Thompson's Helping Doctoral Students Write. First, Geraldines' text. We can see that this writing reflects Geraldines' inability or lack of confidence in contributing her voice to the literature. She's fallen into the trap of he said, she said, as you can see in the red text, simply reporting on different authors' contributions. This is how most of us begin, before we realise that we actually do have a contribution to make. However, this is descriptive writing, it's not critical writing. In this text by Veras, there's no authorial control. It's stuffed full of the literature. All of Veras' references have equal weight, and this makes it very confusing. What is the relationship between the writers, and how do they relate to Veras' work? What is Veras' work? There seems to be no point to the text. Veras has not yet worked out who these people are in relation to her work, and even to each other. Here, Anne shows a hands-on hip stance. She believes in her own thinking and experience. She treats other writers and thinkers as collaborators, even as contributors to her own work. Anne is definitely in control. Notice the strong topic sentence that shows Anne's voice. Notice the information prominent point of view, which Anne analyses and then synthesises with other strategic trends to suggest a likely consequence. Anne uses Cohen to back up this claim, and the last sentence qualifies and consolidates her claim. Now open up some of the PDF activity files under the Activities tab. Think through the questions and check out the answer keys. Choose some in your discipline or an associated discipline, but also check out voice in other disciplines. We can discover what we know about writing by contrasting it with not so familiar discourse. And remember, you'll find lots more online discussion and examples about voice in research writing.